YouTube. It's a wonderful Friday morning. I'm assuming it's Friday. I can't remember which day it is. But anyway, yeah, it's Friday. Anyways, I just figured I'd walk in and I just take everybody along with me. And I really wouldn't have made this a live feed, but I ain't got enough space on my phone right yet. And I just figured, well, I'll just do a live feed, take everybody with me. Go see mom. Got some traffic going on here. It's a busy highway this time of morning. About 6:30 or so. And got the busy highway. Now I ain't gonna be able to take y'all inside with me on kind of like privacy issues and stuff, with other residents at the rehabilitation center. Keep calling it a rehab, but it's actually a rehabilitation center for those that have it's a nursing home slash assisted care slash rehabilitation for those that have went through some major surgeries and either the family don't know how to properly take care of the person after surgery, or don't have nobody at home that can take care of them. And in me and my sister's case, it had to do with the fact that one, on account of our work schedules, and two, we felt like these folks were professionals and they would know more about what they were doing than what we would if we was to do it ourselves. And with the type of incisions that she had to have in order to have this surgery, it just seemed more logical that way. I'm getting ready to walk down my favorite road so far in Sullivan, Indiana. I don't know why. I mean, there ain't nothing fancy about this road. Matter of fact, there's only a small portion of a sidewalk and everything. But I don't know why. I just like this way. And also, too, ever since I discovered this road one day out of boredom, I decided to, go down this road, just see what it'd be like walking down just some strange road. And one day, when I did, I up and found that not only did it take me closer to work and everything without having to walk that much on the side of the highway, as which I done that in Kentucky. But the difference is in Kentucky they had about a shoulder on the side of the highway that was probably about half of one lane of a regular side street. Where here, at least in this part of Indiana, you ain't gonna find nothing like that unless you're walking on the side of 40 or 41, and then you might get stopped by a state trooper asking you what you're doing walking on the side of a major highway like that. Of course, I'm amazed that didn't happen to me down in Kentucky, but I noticed apparently there was quite a few people that walked like I done, just because the simple fact was they couldn't afford bus fare. It's one thing I do miss about old Kentucky, man. See, I ain't got a driver's license and everything, and because on account of dyslexia, I don't know what it is, but I have trouble taking tests even when they're read to me sometimes. And growing up on the farm and everything, I kind of learned how to drive and stuff, just not legally. And I've even driven on the highways before around here, and and stuff behind farm equipment and stuff like that. Just I wasn't legally able to drive, but I guess having the full plate on the back of a truck kind of helps, I guess. At least it used to in the state of Indiana. The laws may have changed by now, but anyways, down there in old Kentucky, there was a bus system, a tank bus system, as which was awesome because I could go if I wanted to from where I lived. I could go from from Alexandria to about, well, even downtown Cincinnati, down on Government Square. I could go that far on a tank bus, and then even if I wanted to, I could have even took a tank bus and went to Dayton, Ohio if I wanted to. But I never ventured that far. I really didn't have nothing that I wanted to see in Dayton, Ohio. I mostly stuck around within Florence, Kentucky, and of course I had to go from Alexandria, hop aboard the bus, go down to the bus hub station, and then from there I had to transfer down in Cumberton, where the transit station is. I had to transfer them there onto a number one, and a number one bus took me straight to Florence, Kentucky. Well, there was a few stops along the way, you know, bus route and everything, but I really, really miss that. Here in this part of Indiana, I mean, in Indiana, in certain areas, they have a bus system, but the bus system is in bigger cities. Like, they have a form of a town bus in Terre Haute, Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, definitely in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was the first time, well, between Bloomington and Indianapolis, I think it was the first time I really seen any form of a bus transit system. Of course, Bloomington's a big college town. If you ever going through Bloomington, Indiana, that's where IU is at. I don't know how many people out there follow college basketball. I used to before they fired Bobby Knight, which was the worst mistake ever. I don't care how violent the man got. He kept them players in line, you know. But anyways, there's some parts of Bloomington, Indiana that's historic. And also, too, a place I want to go to in Bloomington, Indiana. It's called the Briar and the Burley, as far as I know, and as far as I mean, with what little knowledge I have, I think that is like the oldest and the only tobacconist shop there in Bloomington, Indiana. At least this part of upper southern Indiana. And I never knew that existed until I was watching Mutton Chop Piper and everything, and he was strolling through Indiana and made a video about that. And ever since then, I wanted to go there just to show support for a local tobacconist. And there's also a few places there in Terre Haute, Indiana, I like to go to. Later on, I think within the nearest areas that I'm aware of, just within anywhere between 50 to 100-mile radius of the vicinity of where I live at up here. I think Terre Haute, Indiana was one of the last closest cities to have a bus system, but it's not like as big as like what you would think in big major cities and stuff. But they can take you from one end of Terre Haute to the other and back again. And also too, up there attached to their little transit center is also the Greyhound bus station in Terre Haute. It kind of looks kind of nice, but then again, also kind of way it's all set up too, and the way they got it fenced off, almost looked like at one point in time it could have been used for a prison camp. That's no joke. But it kind of looks pretty on the outside. It's right there off the Holman Square. Matter of fact, right diagonal from the Holman Center. There have been quite a few good acts, I've been told, that's rolled through the Holman Center. I know my cousin, when he was alive, my cousin Art, he had told me one time, I can't remember what part of the 70s, but I think he said it was about 78 or 79, he showed me a ticket stub of a Kiss concert, and he said front row center seat at that point in time was just a little over $20 to get a seat front row center at a Kiss concert. And I'm sitting there thinking, my God, that would have been so cool to have been there. One thing about this road and the road that connects to this road is people fly down there, you know, like it's a drag strip, especially on this next stretch of road we're gonna be turning on. But it's kind of crazy. But there's also a portion of this road that I find to be very beautiful. I would like to film it sometime, but then again, on the way that it's a bit of a residential area, I'd be more afraid somebody would just think I was casing their place or something. But one day I just stood on the edge of the road, or stood on the edge of the section of this road, and I just admired the way these trees were grown up in this little yard or big yard. And I don't know what it is about this little area, but if I could paint really super well, I'd even pay these people that live closest to it. I'd even pay them whatever they would ask for to just sit in a small section of their yard just so I can look at these trees and paint them, if I was that good. I'm not that great. I think I barely even touch on being an impressionist when it comes to art. One thing too, on this road, you'll see the biggest house in the entire Sullivan County. There's a big one. If you look behind me, you can kind of partially see the little area I'm talking about on this road back a ways there. Yeah, right there's the biggest house in Sullivan County, guys. There's a big old mansion. I forget what they said that mansion was called, but that's a big one. And like over evening, sometimes that lake there, or pond or whatever it is, they got like a water fountain in the middle of it that shoots up. It looks really cool. I'd hate to see what the electric bill would be for that place. I bet it's probably outrageous. Not to mention on to clean the whole thing or to roof it. I think that'd be a big old pain. I guess that's also another one of the reasons why I like walking down this road. I like looking at that big old house. See? Big old sucker. Oh, there was a well-known doctor that lived there, and someone said that he got killed. But crazy things happen. Crazy things do happen in this world, and some things without no explanation at all. There's a little beautiful walk though. You even got a church school up that way. I'll tell you what, I thought Bloomfield, Indiana had a lot of churches. I think this little town got some beat. And also, I thought where I lived at, I actually the only place I've lived at so far that I would say the town had more churches than they could shake a stick at, I'm going to say was probably down there in the area of Kentucky where I lived at. I miss Kentucky all the way around. I really do. I think sometime if I can ever become more mobile on my own, I'd think I would go back to living down in Kentucky. I think I really, really would. But with the way Mom's health is and everything and stuff, I just don't think also it would be logical or feasible. Of course, if I did go back to living down in Kentucky, I'd want to be somewhere on the bus line where I was, but at the same time, in a bit of a cheaper living town. Just because cost of living where I was at was pretty high, because it was a college town. I think where I lived at, I think the college was maybe anywhere between 3 and 5 blocks up the road in one direction. Then you had the big old town of Alexandria, which It wasn't all that big, but it was just about the size of your average town. It was probably maybe 1 or 200 people in population from being classified as city, but about the size of a town called Linton, Indiana. And they call Linton a city, but it's all on account of the population count, and that's about it. I really can't remember exactly what a population count is supposed to be to classify a town to be a city, but it sure it was a nice town. Of course, also the funny thing is the bus route ended right where I worked at, and unless you paid for an express bus that took you to a park and go garage, you couldn't go take a bus to the other side of town. But I'll still miss the bus system, I really do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I am just now getting ready to come up to this place. I'll show you what it is real quick. There you go. There's what it looks like. Like I said, they wouldn't want me to do any filming while I'm in there anyways, but I just like to say thank you all for joining me on this little walk to go see Mom this morning. And wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. Thank you to all the fans and to all the new fans. Till next time, thank you, and wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed.